What can I tell you about this new Lego set I got for a regular Nintendo? That's what we used to call it. We call it a regular Nintendo because the Super Nintendo was out, and so you had to differentiate between the two, and we were five, so we weren't like original Nintendo. Anyway, it is the biggest set. Is it the biggest set? Only by a little bit. This is the biggest set I've had, and I don't even have the Millennium Falcon anymore. The old one with like 2,100 pieces, not the new one. That's probably got more. I had a lot of help with this, thankfully, because I was doing it on the floor for nostalgia's sake and really hurt my back, and it would have taken a lot longer if Kellen hadn't worked on the TV. But I'm putting it together, and I've got all these crazy random wild colored pieces, and I'm like, why did they use all these crazy wild colored pieces? Because it's just a Nintendo. It's just a regular Nintendo. It's just gray and black. It doesn't need all of that. And it all just gets covered up anyway. But I'm also really blown away by the ingenuity of the design, where they've got this functionality that like I couldn't even wrap my head around while I was building it. But then you put it together and you're just like, yeah, that's exactly how you do that. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't figure it out. So whoever designed this needs a raise. And just the simple things like you have a gear system that turns in both directions, but you only want it to turn in one direction. So they just have this weird little piece that just goes against the gears, and you try to turn it backwards. It's great. But then it's starting to look more and more like a Nintendo, and I love these little details that they put in, like the RCA jacks and the coax cable. It's a gray barrel with like a stick in it. Like, how do they even think of that? This is when it really started coming together, and it started looking like the thing on the box. It has a full-size controller. I think the A and B buttons are a little big, but it's full size. It's the same dimensions. The RCA jacks on the sides, and I'm putting all these weird colors in it, and I'm just like, nobody's even gonna see this. What the heck? And then it starts to look familiar, and I'm like, hold on, isn't this the warp zone from level 2? And it has this miniature. It's a little smaller than life size. The console is too. It fits right in, and you push it down and it stays down just like the actual Nintendo. And the TV isn't, well, I mean, I was gonna say it's not life size, but I remember watching Sesame Street on a TV smaller than this. I mean, the screen was smaller anyway at grandma's house in Oregon. But the little dial has clicky noises. And whoever came up with this design, the idea that you have a scrolling level and then Mario interacts with it by having this clear disc on the back of him that interacts with the things on the screen that are one level out, that are one stud pushed out. It's amazing. I love it. And I love this antenna, not just because it's got a tiny little antenna, but it clips into the back just like I remember our TV did when I was little. It's great. It was very nostalgic, and it was worth the too much money that I paid for it. I guess it's not too much if I said it's worth it, huh?